The difference between Super Saiyan 4 of Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Daima. Now, there's some notable differences. Of course, like we got the original black hair and red fur, and then we got the red fur and the red hair. And the eyes are different from the original having yellow eyes with a red outline, and the new Super Saiyan 4 having the red eyes. Kind of similar to Super Saiyan God transformation. Now, of course, we know some key differences is the way the transformation is achieved. At the time in Dragon Ball GT, Goku was pretty much defeated by Super Baby Vegeta, but he was knocked into some separate dimension where he went through a whole thing over there, and by the time they got out and Goku collapsed that dimension, he was taken back to the world of the Kais with the old Supreme Kai pretty much coming up with an idea to get Goku more power, which was to pretty much pull Goku's tail back out. And after they successfully pulled Goku's tail back, Goku felt much more stronger from the power that his Saiyan tail gave, very much like in Dragon Ball. Whenever Goku's tail grew back in Dragon Ball, he would feel much more stronger. And this is why Raditz always told Goku that their true power comes from their tail when Raditz visited him back in early Z. But the thing is to this, where Goku goes to fight, Baby Vegeta, he's still no match for him, but at this point he ends up seeing he sees the planet, not the moon, and the Blitz wave enter his body. He begins to transform into a golden Uzaru, which is the first time we've seen this in the series, except for a flashback in the anime portion of when they talk about the legendary Super Saiyan, and this is kind of like where that concept kind of existed from. But at this point, Goku is still rampaging because he doesn't have control over that Uzaru, and pretty much at this point, Baby is trying to hide and escape. Goku begins to gain control and harness that power and begins to mutate and evolve again, becoming the Super Saiyan 4 that we know of in Dragon Ball GT, the original Super Saiyan 4. Now, in Dragon Ball Daima, Goku is fighting Goma as a Super Saiyan 3 and end up getting smashed, and Neva enters the scene and pretty much uses magic on Goku, and Goku is able to start to mutate and transform and become Super Saiyan 4. Later on, when Goku is switched back to normal, he transformed into Super Saiyan 4 at will at this point, transforming. Now, this is a different way of achieving this form, but they're both Super Saiyan 4, even though they're slightly different in design and how they approach this form. Now, Goku, when he first became the Super Saiyan 4 in Daima, he became in his mini form. And the difference between the one in GT was that Goku was already wished as a child, and the power of that Super Saiyan 4 was able to put Goku back into his adult form of his body, which made him break the power of not just the regular Dragon Balls, but that of the Black Star Dragon Balls, which is way more powerful than the regular Dragon Balls on Earth. So this just goes to show just how much power is in the original version of Super Saiyan 4 for it to pretty much overpower a wish from the Black Star Dragon Balls, which is stronger than the original Dragon Balls on Earth, where these Dragon Balls have no limits. The only problem is there's a huge drawback with if you make a wish on that planet, if you don't return those Dragon Balls back in a year to that planet that wish was made, that planet will explode. So that is the big drawback. So this just goes to show just a feat in itself about this transformation being able to overpower a wish. Now, the other thing to look at is when we look at the one in Daima and we look at the one in Dragon Ball GT, of course, now Goku is not too sure of how to tap back into this power. Now, we don't know about the end of Daima if Goku fully got a grasp of this power and that he's able to transform into it at will after this point. We don't know. And we still have debates up in the air of if Daima is going to be connected to Super, if it's going to be his own thing, or if it's going to be something for it to make it make sense. So at this current moment, we don't know what exactly is the future of Super Saiyan 4 after Daima. We know it's around, but we don't know if it's just going to be his own thing or if it's going to actually tie into Super and that power becomes hard for Goku to reach after this. So it's different ways to look at it. Whereas in Dragon Ball GT, we see Goku in this form. He's also very strong, overpowers Baby Vegeta at this point, even gets several power-ups, and even starts to dominate the fight on Baby Vegeta until he turns into a Great Ape as well, which makes the fight a little bit more even. Even then, Goku's still, putting up a fight against the Great Ape baby. But now the thing is to look at when we're looking at the Super Saiyan 4 in Daima and GT. Now, in GT, we're not sure if Goku loses his tail, if he will lose the power of Super Saiyan 4, which I doubt it, because the thing is all about receiving Blood's Wave. As we see, Vegeta at the end of GT, he gets Super Saiyan 4 by being shot with the machine to get enough Blood's Waves, which grows back his tail and also transform him into a Great Ape as well. So ultimately, the thing I could say about these two transformations is that I don't think the tail is really necessary, because it's an internal mutation. The tail is just part of more of the aesthetic of Super Saiyan 4, being able to tap into that full Saiyan power. If you're going by the statements of Dragon Ball GT, we don't get too many statements about this power in Dragon Ball Daima, but right now, since they're both Super Saiyan 4, we're going to associate that power kind of similar a little bit, because ultimately when Goku transforms in Dragon Ball GT, it's kind of similar to that of when he becomes Super Saiyan 3, where it's digging into that primal Saiyan power into your inner self. And Super Saiyan 4 is supposed to represent the peak power of pulling like all your potential to the forefront and pretty much bringing that raw power out. That's pretty much what Super Saiyan 4 is supposed to represent. And it's the same of being the ultimate form. And what I think what Neva did was being able to activate Goku to his most peak ultimate form, which I explained in a video about Neva's power. So both of them are kind of very similar, but just slightly different in the ways of how they achieve the forms, but they kind of operate very similar for right now, until we get more of Super Saiyan 4 and be able to hopefully we get more and they're able to go more deeper into the backstory of Super Saiyan 4 as far as the power itself in Dragon Ball Daima, and get more information about it, seeing if there's any more growth levels to it, because then we probably get a Super Saiyan 5. But that's it for this video for now, and we'll be back with a part 2 of this video in the future once we get more information about this form.